The outgoing Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Mohammed Bakindo, has linked the success of his 6-year tenure to the wealth of wisdom of President Muhammadu Buhari. Speaking when he met with the president as well as other key government officials at the presidential villa, Abuja, recounted some of the challenges he helped surmount during his time as the fourth OPEC Secretary General from Nigeria. Our correspondent Folashade Ugurinde tells us more in this report.
Beyond attaining one of the highest offices as a Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, for 6 years, Mohammed Bakindo has also been described as a worthy ambassador of the country. At the presidential villa in Abuja, President Buhari hailed the outgoing OPEC Secretary General for his numerous feats in spearheading critical initiatives, as well as providing leadership during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Your time in charge of affairs of OPEC has been a very challenging time for the global oil industry. Oil producers were finding it difficult to come together to address the challenges that was crippling the oil market. There is no doubt that your efforts in putting together the Declaration of Cooperation, which is the largest in the history of OPEC and the global oil industry, and also the longest in duration in the history of the organization.
In his remarks, Bakindo expressed gratitude to President Buhari for his guidance and support during his tenure. He explained how President Buhari's council played a major role in the successful execution and birthing of the Declaration of Cooperation of OPEC and non-OPEC oil-producing countries after he assumed office in Vienna, Austria in 2016.
As a result of the build-up of inventories, stocks of both crude oil and petroleum products around the world to a level that was never seen in history. It had reached over 400 million barrels a day over the industry's 5-year average, and hence prices plunged to -$10 US. It was very obvious to me, Mr. President, that this was beyond OPEC alone to address. And therefore, we needed to get the support of other leading producers around the world. And I recall I did consult with you during that time on telephone, and I indeed drank from your fountain of wisdom.
Speaking further, Bakindo explained how the Declaration of Cooperation helped salvage the challenges of dwindling oil prices occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We had the tested toolkit in the Declaration of Cooperation that we signed in December 2016 that had worked for several years. All we needed to do was to dust it up and to amend it in order to face this calamitous situation. And we were able to, as Minister Silva said, agree to withdraw 9.7 million barrels a day from the market, and this was the highest ever adjustment in the history of OPEC, in the history of oil, because of the gravity of the situation. And we took a decision for a duration of 2 years.
The outgoing OPEC Secretary General is set to receive a rousing welcome as the President has directed the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to mobilize the oil and gas industry to organize a befitting welcome ceremony in honor of Bakindo. Folashade Ugurinde, TV 360 News.